What's up, Mr. G here, and this video is going to be for fuselage, which is here on the right. I made mine in inches. You can make yours in millimeters if you want, just depending on however you started your upper wing and lower wing. You want to stay consistent, so if you started your other ones in millimeters, make sure you stay there. If you started them in inches, make sure you stay there. So we'll close this out and go to a new part. Okay, so basically it's like a cylinder, but the cylinder is flat here, and then it goes down at an angle, and then it goes flat again. And I'm going to use the revolve tool in order to get the shape that I'm looking for. So let's start a sketch on the front plane, and I'm going to start here, and basically what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try and draw like the top half of this without the little cutout here, just the top half, because I'm going to take it and revolve it all the way around. So I'll start here at the origin and just draw a line coming over, zoom out a little bit, draw a line from here coming up, and I'm ignoring the fillets also. I'll come back and hit those fillets later. So it goes straight for a bit, then it comes down at an angle, then it goes straight for a bit again, and then it comes down to there. That's the shape that I'm going for. And let's apply some dimensions. So I know that from here to here is going to be, let's see, 105 plus 76 plus 25. So let's do that. A little calculator, 105 plus 76 plus 25 is 206. Distance there. I know that the flat part right here is 76. So I'll add that. And I guess I could do either one here. Let's do this one at 25. And that should leave me with a driven dimension right there, that's 105. So I get that error because I already have the 206. I can hit OK and it'll show it. Okay, so the goal is to make all of my lines black, so that way it means it's fully defined. If I've got these three lines that are still blue, what that means is that my object is not fully defined. I could still use some more dimensions. So the dimensions that I'm missing are the ones on the side here. It's going to be 22 based on this dimension here. And the one over here. Okay, my entire height of the object is 54. So I'm taking that and I'm cutting it in half. So 54 divided by 2 is 27. So that should be the distance for this. Okay. So now, as you can see, as long as you've put your object on the origin like I did here, everything should turn black. You don't need this 105 dimension. I could delete it, but I'm going to see what happens if I keep it on there like that. So I basically created the profile here of the top half of this solenoid, or I'm going to exit the sketch and go to Features, Revolve. The axis of revolution is going to be this bottom line because everything gets revolved around that axis. I don't have to make another line for an axis. I can just use the bottom line of the sketch. And it's going to go blind 360 degrees. All that stuff looks good, so I'll just hit the check mark, and that's basically the first part. Alright, now let's look at the back. So I'm going to kind of try to do some fillets, and then the rest is just cutting stuff out of this shape. Like this is a cut here. It also happens on the top. You can't see it, but it happens both directions. This is a cutout. This is a cutout. This is we're going to use the hole wizard to get that. Then I'm going to cut this out and then this out. So let's start in the back here. So I'm going to start with a fillet for this back piece that has a radius of 5. So I'm going to use this fillet type. Click here. 5. Actually, yeah, that should be okay. So that just gave me that. Then I need to cut this little shape out. So the plane that I want to draw on is the front plane. So I'm drawing on the front plane. I hit Sketch, and I'm going to change to this view right here. And here's a new tool that I don't use very often. It's called Straight Slot. So here's how it works. Click Straight Slot. And I want to be in the middle here. I'll just click this point here, and then I'll go out. And what it does is it makes like a rectangle with two rounded kind of circle shapes on the outside. So what I need is for this radius of this little slot to be 4. So I'm going to set that to 4. What I need is this to touch this point right here. If you notice, this circle actually touches this point, or this line right here. So in order to do that, I mean, I could try and slide it over like this, but it's not going to get it perfect. I have to set a relationship between this and this. So I'm going to click my circle, hold Control, click my line, and I should get an option for a relationship here to be tangent. That should slide your object over. So the two things you're looking to have here is the radius. Make sure it's in the center, up and down. Set the radius to 4, and then make sure you've got a tangent connection there to there. Exit that sketch, and what that looks like is I've got that slot right in the middle there. Then I'm going to go to Features, Extrude Cut, and I'm going to extrude it both ways, through all both. So it's going to go both directions entirely through the object. Hit the check mark, and then that's my little slot there. Now you can't tell in this image here, but this slot also needs to happen on the top. So I'm going to use a circular pattern to do that because I've already got the slot. Create a pattern in order to basically copy it. So up here, the direction that I want it to go is this, and the features and faces that I want to pattern, so clicking down here, is going to be that cut. Okay, so again, the direction was the face of the object, and the features is the cut. What I want, and yours might say like 2 by default or something. Let's see if I can move this. So if it says 2 or like 15 degrees, I think by default it'll look something like this. Okay, but we got to set our little properties over here. So we want equal spacing. That should change this to 360 degrees, and I want to change this to 4. If I hit the check there, it should, basically what that does is just copies this slot up to the top here. And now I've got the slot going both directions. Okay, so let's zoom out. Let's see what we can do next. The back piece looks done. We've got our fillet that looks okay, I believe. I'm going to skip these two and move to the front. I'm going to use a hole wizard, which I don't know that we've used before. So hole wizard tool gives you different types of holes that you can cut into objects. This one is a counterbore type. So basically it comes in a little bit, and then the radius of the cut changes and it goes in a little bit more. So I'm going to keep it on that. That should be the default. You're in millimeters, you want to set this to metric, but mine's set to inches. And then by default, show custom sizing is not checked, so we need to check that. And based on these dimensions here, so I'm looking at this, this is what your setting should say. I've already drawn this, so that's why mine kind of automatically popped up, but the small diameter of this is 12, which gives you a little picture there. Hole through the diameter is 12. The big opening up at the top is 30. That's this distance here. The height of the cut, of the first cut, is 18 based on that dimension. 118 degrees. I don't know that I had to set that. It kind of did that automatically for me. And then the end condition is important. You want to set that to blind, and then 38 inches because the distance from the front face all the way to this point right here is 38. So once you have all this set, like mine, basically I think you just hit the check mark first. Well, maybe not. You have to click on this face because that's the face we're putting the hole, and then click on the origin. Hopefully your origin is here, like you set it up like I did, and then click the origin and then hit the check mark. And I'll look at it in section view just so you can see here what it looks like. So basically it cuts in a little bit, cuts in a little more, and it ends up looking just like the picture on the left here. So that's where we're at so far. I'll unsection view that so we can look. Okay, so that's that part. Let's do this bottom little cutout here. So again, I'm going to sketch on the front plane, which is the plane that goes right in the middle. View right here. So basically I just want to make a rectangle, and then I'm going to fill it these corners later. So I'll go to the rectangle tool, corner rectangle. It starts here, so make sure you put your first point there. Don't just float it on the bottom. It should float right there. And I'm going to go all the way over to there. Set our dimensions. So this dimension up top is going to be 60. This dimension on the side is going to be 5. And that's it. Everything's black. That means it's fully defined. I'm going to check that. So that creates just a little box on the bottom. I'm going to exit that sketch and extrude cut it both directions through all both. That just makes a square cut there. Now there is a little curve, but I didn't want to do that in the sketch because sometimes it gives errors. So I'm just going to, now that I've got it, go to fillet, set my fillet radius to 5 right here, which is already set, and just click that edge and that edge. If you're clicking that and it's not looking like mine, make sure you have this fillet type selected there. Hit the check mark, and now you've got that little fillet right there. And I've got a little circle. Actually, this is 2 circles, here and here, that kind of protrude up a little bit. So I'm going to sketch on this face. Let's see here. I'll draw a center line. Going down the middle. I don't know if I need it, but we'll see. And then I'll make 2 circles. Go ahead and set the sizes of those. Sorry, that's the wrong direction. Actually, I don't need a center line. Well, maybe I do. I'll draw a center line. It's not in the center, though. It should be 46 from here, based on this dimension right here. So I have my center line from there to there. Draw 2 circles, or maybe 1. I guess I could have kept that center line and used mirror. Alright, obviously I'm kind of goofing this up a little bit. You don't have to do it exactly the same way. The end goal is I'm just trying to make 2 circles. How I get there, how you get there is kind of irrelevant here. 6, and the total gap between, or the distance from the circle to the middle should be 12. So that's what's important. Center to there is 12. Okay, same for the other side. Now that everything's black there, it looked a little wrong, but I guess it's correct. It's really close to the edge there. And then I'm going to use mirror. Mirror this entity about this line. Check that. So now I've got 2 6-inch diameter circles that are both 12 away from the center line, which is on the origin. That all looks good. Everything's black. Exit the sketch, and that gets extruded up 12. Extrude cut. 12 up. Check it. Now I've got those holes going up there. So the last thing is this little part right here. Again, I'm sketching on that front plane. Sketch. Go to this view. Again, I'm going to make another box. This one is 20 away from here, so this one's kind of tricky because I want it to stay at the top. So I'm going to hover my mouse here for a second and come over and then make my box. The bottom of this should be 50. From here to the bottom of that should be 18, so make sure you click your right parts. Should be 18 from the top down to there to the bottom. And then this goes all the way up. So we can just kind of stretch that up like that. So all that part gets cut out. 50, 18, and then I'm going to fillet that later once I get this cut done. I do need to add this dimension here, that's 20. So from here to here should be 20. Now this can be, this is blue because it can stretch up, but since I'm just cutting this, since I'm just cutting the whole section out, I'm going to leave that blue. The way to fix that, if you wanted to, is you could set this to a certain distance, like 60. I'll go ahead and set it just because we're trying to make sure we're keeping everything black where possible. I'll exit that sketch, and again, that's extrude cut both ways. So through all both, check that, and add a fillet. fillet radius is going to be 10 here. And 10 here. Okay, now the last part is just this little circle that goes down, so I'm going to sketch on this piece. I'll go to the top view, make it easier to see. Circle. And the good thing about putting the center on the origin there is that like center line always pops up, like no matter where I'm drawing. So that's really good. Smart dimension. Size of this circle is 24. Needs to be in the center, I think. Let's see if I can find. Oh, the position should be 25 from this here. So it's still blue. I'm trying to make it black. Doesn't know where to go. So from here to here should be 24. Let's see, why is it still blue? Because it can go up and down. So to fix that, I would make a center line going all the way across like that, and it automatically attached and turned black. Exit that, features, extrude cut that, and goes down 16. Check that. I think I've got everything. I'll look at the section view here just to make sure it looks like the one in the example here. Oh, well, I can't see that because it's in a different, it's further back, but it's there. So I'm missing, looks like I'm missing a fillet up here. I've got to include that little fillet radius 6, and that should be the last thing. Fillet 6. I'll click that. Nope, not 60, just 6. Okay. There's that little fillet. Just looking over everything, make sure everything looks okay. I've got my fillets there, fillets there. 7. Okay, you can add a material if you want. At the end, we're going to make it all look wood or however you want to make it look. So you can add your material there. I'm just going to keep all mine gray till the end, though. But that's it for this one.